What if the greatest prayer Billy Graham ever said was never heard by anyone, not recorded, not preached, not even whispered in public? For decades, millions followed his sermons, his crusades, and his unwavering faith. But what if, near the end of his life, he spoke a prayer so intimate, so unexpected, that not even his closest family members knew about it? A prayer written in silence, torn, hidden, and only discovered years later, by accident. In this video, you'll discover the unknown final prayer of Billy Graham, a prayer that reveals a side of him the world never saw. This is not just about faith, this is about fear, truth, and the one moment when even the greatest evangelist of the 20th century questioned everything. You are about to hear the words he never meant to share, words that might change how you see Billy Graham forever. In the final months of his life, Billy Graham no longer traveled the world. The stadiums were quiet, the crowds were gone, and the man who once spoke to millions now spent his days in silence. But those closest to him said he had changed. His eyes were softer, his voice lower, and sometimes, when he thought no one was watching, he would stare at a blank page, as if waiting for something more than words. He had already preached every sermon. He had already prayed over kings, presidents, and entire nations. But deep inside, something remained unsaid. One night, as the sun was setting behind the trees of his quiet home in North Carolina, Billy asked for a moment alone. Just him, a notebook, and a pen. No cameras, no audience, just a man of God, and whatever was left unsaid between him and heaven. What happened next? No one saw, but the pages he left behind. They would tell a story far more intimate than any message he ever gave. Weeks after Billy Graham passed away, his family began the difficult process of sorting through decades of memories. Boxes of letters, handwritten sermons, photographs, and notebooks filled entire rooms. But there was one small leather-bound notebook that no one remembered seeing before. It was old, faded, with no title on the cover inside. The handwriting was unmistakably his, but the tone was different. These were not sermons. These were not public prayers. These were raw, private thoughts, doubts, pleas, conversations not with people, but with God. And on the last pages, there it was, a single prayer, written in trembling hands. The ink slightly smudged as if it had been written through tears. It didn't have a title, but it was clearly his final message to heaven. The prayer began with silence. Lord, if I've ever misunderstood you, forgive me for teaching what I couldn't fully grasp myself. Then it grew deeper. I stood on stages, but I never stopped being a child, searching in the dark. I saw millions come forward, but I still wonder if I was enough. His final line left everyone speechless. I spent a lifetime telling the world about you, but now that I'm coming home, I only have one question. Will you still recognize me? The notebook was never meant to be found. That prayer, those words were likely written in a moment when Billy Graham believed no one would ever read them. But maybe that was the point. Because what if the strongest men of faith are not those who never doubt, but those who dare to confess their weakness, even when the whole world calls them heroes? Billy Graham's final prayer was not about fame. It wasn't about power, theology, or doctrine. It was about the one thing that even preachers fear to say aloud. Was I really known by you? And maybe, just maybe, that's the prayer we're all secretly whispering inside. So now, you've heard what no microphone ever caught. Not a sermon, not a performance, but a soul, speaking directly to heaven. And perhaps, if Billy Graham could leave us with just one last message, it would, to be this: it's okay to question, it's okay to tremble. Just don't stop talking to him.